All right, let's jump right in. For most of human history, our most advanced technology wasn't forged from metal or code. Nope, it was carved right out of stone. Today, we're going to explore this incredible idea that ancient temples weren't just places of worship. They were actually sophisticated instruments built to watch the sky.
I mean, really think about that for a second. You don't have a calendar on your phone or a clock on the wall. How on earth would you know when to plant your crops, when to get ready for winter, or even when to hold the most important rituals of your year? It's a massive life or death problem.
And the answer? Well, it's absolutely fascinating. Ancient civilizations from pretty much every corner of the globe found a solution, and they literally encoded it directly into their most sacred, most monumental structures. They turned their temples into clocks.
To really get this, we have to put ourselves in their shoes. For ancient peoples, the sky wasn't just some beautiful backdrop. It was everything. It was the fundamental organizing principle of their entire world.
The sun, the moon, the stars, they dictated it all. If you got the timing of the planting season wrong, your whole society could starve. If you miscalculated a religious festival, you could risk cosmic chaos. The sky meant survival, plain and simple. And mapping its movements was a way to bring order to a very chaotic world.
So, let's look at our first piece of evidence, probably the most famous one, Stonehenge. This was not just a random pile of massive rocks. It was a precisely engineered instrument built to capture a specific, absolutely critical moment in time. And that moment revolves around the solstice. So what is that? Well, to put it simply, the solstices mark the longest day of the year, that's the summer solstice, and the shortest day of the year, the winter solstice. They're basically the great turning points of the entire solar calendar.
Now this is where it gets just wild. Look at that precision. On the summer solstice, if you're standing right in the center of that circle, boom, the sun rises perfectly over one specific marker stone. And then, on the winter solstice, it sets exactly between the two tallest stones. I mean, come on, that is not an accident. No way.
And what's so crucial to understand is that you just don't build something this accurate on a whim. This took centuries of careful observation, of tracking the sun's path day after day, year after year, and then passing that precious knowledge down through generations.
Okay, now let's hop over to a different continent and see how this whole idea evolves. In the incredible Mayan city of Chichen Itza, we see that same astronomical knowledge, but this time it's transformed into a stunning public spectacle. This is where science becomes pure theater.
Okay, get this. Twice a year, on the spring and autumn equinoxes, something unbelievable happens. As the sun sets, its light just catches the corner of the pyramid and it casts this series of triangular shadows. These shadows line up perfectly to form the body of a massive serpent that looks like it's slithering right down the staircase to meet a stone serpent head at the bottom. It's deliberate, jaw-dropping astronomical theater.
And for our last example, let's head over to Cambodia, to the magnificent Angkor Wat. So if Stonehenge is like a precision clock, and Chichen Itza is this amazing theater, then Angkor Wat, well, it's an entire library, a massive calendar and cosmic map all encoded in stone. The level of detail here is just off the charts. The entire layout is a model of the Hindu cosmos, with the central towers representing a mythical mountain. But look closer. Researchers have figured out that the lengths of the walkways, the number of certain features, they actually encode the precise durations of the solar year and the lunar cycles. It's like a vast architectural hard drive for storing data.
So we're seeing this pattern pop up all across the globe, right? England, Mexico, Cambodia. Which brings us to the big question. Why? Why did so many totally separate cultures all arrive at the exact same solution of turning their temples into observatories?
Well, the answer really lies in a completely different worldview than what we have today. For them, there was just no separation between religion and astronomy, between science and faith. The gods lived in the sky, and the stars were their language. So understanding the cosmos was actually an act of religious devotion.
So here's what it all comes down to. Building these incredible structures wasn't just about knowing when to plant corn. It was about anchoring their entire society to the predictable, divine order of the heavens. It was a way to stabilize time itself.
And this really challenges our modern assumptions, doesn't it? We tend to look back and imagine these primitive people just kind of stumbling around in the dark. But the evidence tells a completely different story. They were meticulous scientists and absolutely brilliant engineers.
And that's the ultimate takeaway here. Long before Galileo ever pointed a telescope at Jupiter, humanity had already built these massive, mind-bogglingly complex instruments for observing the universe. We just have to learn to see these incredible temples for what they truly are.
It really makes you wonder, right? As we get better and better at reading this ancient language of alignment and architecture, what other profound knowledge might be out there, just waiting for us, hidden in plain sight?